Hey, what's up, all you samurai in the land of Wano? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with a review of One Piece, Chapter 952, titled Hiyori and Kawamatsu. Wow, I tripped over all them words. All one of them. Now, we open up with a cover page that shows that Capone Beige has decided to go along with his wife's switch. Let's go find Lola. Find your sister so that you can reunite with her once and for all. So, that's a thing that happened. Now, we then pick up in Ringo on the Bandits Bridge, where we see that Zoro and Yukimaru are doing battle, and Zoro quickly takes down Yukimaru for the most part. But Zoro has a few questions for Yukimaru, just wondering, who are you? Why are you stealing all these weapons? And why are you trying so hard to protect that sword? I want it back. So Zoro desperately is trying to get that sword back, but at the same time he's not really going all out with Yukimaru, and that becomes very evident later down the line. But, Yukimaru, despite being taken down by Zoro at first, gets back up and completely refuses to hand back over the sword, and is just like, look, Shushui is a treasure of Wano. It is one of our greatest items in all the land. And it is believed by many that once that sword left, nothing but misfortune fell us. Because you gotta remember, it was stolen, I think it was 23 years ago in this world? And then 20 years ago, in comes Kaido, in comes Hiroshi. So, not long after the sword was stolen, all this shit went down. So it's believed that because of the loss of that sword, the god of the sword became angry, defeat came to every village, Wano was overrun, this, that, and the other. And Hiyori is also taken aback because I'm guessing she didn't know that Zoro was after Shusui. But in comes this unknown figure demanding that they stop. Zoro manages to block the strike from this person, and it's revealed that this is Kawamatsu. Now, Kawamatsu realizes that it's very peculiar that these two warriors are going at it out here, but none of them seems to actually wish to kill the other. So he makes the note that neither of them is actually going all out. And I don't know if that speaks towards their skill in terms of using a sword or what. But apparently Yukimaru has no intention of actually killing Zoro and is more trying to ward him off. Now Hiyori notices Kawamatsu immediately, and Kawamatsu Hiyori. And Zoro calls him a fishman. Now, we don't know if this is true or not. Is Kawamatsu an actual fishman? Because that would actually make sense. Or is he some other species entirely? But Yukimaru immediately pauses upon seeing Kawamatsu. Meanwhile, in Onigashima, the waves are a-rockin' and a-rollin' and a-rumblin', and the roof of Onigashima is toppling down as all the men under Kaido are completely just freaking out. Because apparently, Big Mom and Kaido have been, as they say, going at it all night. And considering that we're only shown panels of their faces, that has very nasty connotations. Like, ew. But, all the men want to leave, get the fuck out of there, and Queen's just like, no! What kind of idiot runs away when his boss is fighting? You're a bunch of cowards! But then he starts asking if they received any word from Udon, from the transponder sale, and Queen immediately makes note that I should probably go there and check it out. Like, you fucking coward. And I like the fact that all of his men call him out on his bullshit. Like, you just want to run away, you ass. And he's just like, oh, what do you mean? I'll be right back. But he suddenly gets a message from a transponder cell, and it's none other than Babanuki, which is like, how? You died. We saw you explode. You exploded. Like, what? You exploded from the inside out. How did you live? But then again, this is One Piece, and if Pell can survive the equivalent of a nuclear explosion, yeah, sure, why the fuck not? But, Queen kind of tries to report in, asking if they're short-handed. It's just like, okay, you got the snails back online, but do you need some help? But Babanuki's like, no, we're fine. No help needed. We recaptured Luffy, Kid, all the troublemakers. They've all been locked away. I just wanted to let you know nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And Queen's still desperately like, you sure you don't want me to come back? You sure? Not even a little? So once they hang up, we come to find out that Babanuki is in fact under the control of none other than Tama, who is broken as all fuck. But then again, she's only been shown to be able to overtake the gifters. So ultimately, there's a limit to how far her abilities are shown to be. So, as long as she's not able to actually take over actual legit snow wielders, it's not quite broken because these guys are mostly fodder, but at the same time, the way she's able to turn enemy forces, it's just like, yo. I think, what's his name? Rizo says it best. It's just like, what fearsome magic. And Kikunojo makes note. It's just like, okay, it seems to only affect those with animalistic tendencies. We also get a nice little aside when it comes to Caribou, who kind of gloats over the fact that it's all because of him that he was able to get all of those enemies. They were able to get all the enemies out, close down communications and all that stuff. And Rizo says that, we are in your debt, sir. We also see that Chopper was able to cure everyone who was afflicted with the mummy disease because of his great prowess in the world of medicine. While it is unfortunate that it just took him no time at all to find a cure, maybe that just shows, I don't know if that speaks to the weakness of Queen's own medical abilities in terms of creating diseases, or that speaks more in the fact that the medical knowledge in Wano is just that, lacking. Because, this is based off of feudal Japan, and, disease ran very rampant there in that era. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they just didn't have doctors who would have been able to cure it, so Queen felt no need to actually bring out his big, overly poisonous shit, So it could be either or, but Luffy's back in action. He's rallying the troops and all that good stuff. Just yeah, but old man Hio is just glad that everyone seems to be taking a liking to Luffy. We also get to see all the various Yakuza bosses of each region. The Yakuza boss of Udon, Bloodletter Omasa. We see the Yakuza boss of Hakumai, Broken Hat Tsunogoro, who has this freaky looking face. It really reminds me of Hakume. What's his name? Cavendish's alternate personality. The Yakuza boss of Ringo, Moonflower Ocho, who, considering how old she probably is, she'd be looking fine. Like, damn. And the Yakuza boss of Kibi, Snake Eye Yatape. And they're all just really kind of, just happy to see that old man Hio is well and safe. They're completely taken their immediately at his service. They kneel before him for the most part. But when Luffy laughs about how, funny they kind of look and entertaining they seem to be, he's just like, okay, so you really must be important, Gramps. But as soon as he calls him Ohio Gramps, the mob bosses are all over him, and like true Yakuza threaten to like cut off, rip out his fingernails or cut off a finger, rip off an ear or something and pay it as tribute to Hio. So that's some legit Yakuza shit, because they cut off little body parts. If you ever see a person, over in Japan in a nice suit but missing like a limb or like a small limb or something, yeah, that's some Yakuza punishment going on right there. But after Hio vouches for Luffy, they lay off of her. It's just like, you got away with your life, kid. Be more careful. So, not the best start in terms of those characters. But Raizo is just like, okay, with all of this, I might finally be able to report to Kinemon. Meanwhile, at the port in Kuri at Port Ichi, we see that it was actually none other than Ashura Doji who had gotten the blueprints that they were trying to find of Onigashima. So everything's really going up for Kinemon. It's just like, dude, everything's coming together. But considering how many days we have left, they damn well better be coming together. You don't have enough time for things not to be coming together. But, with this, they'll be able to invade Onigashima and find their way around the place, any secret passages they might be able to exploit and all that good stuff. But Raizo contacts Kinemon, and he's just like, okay, yeah, so, I know that you wanted to know the situation with Luffy, but I need to let you know the number of men we got went up dramatically. Namely, 3,500 men have been saved, as well as Luffy Taro, as well as Kawamatsu, as well as we've taken over the entirety of the mine. So it's just all this shit just fell into Raizo's lap on one rescue mission, so it's completely out of control. And honestly, once you actually hear it out loud, yeah, it's insane. But it's gotten to a point where Luffy and prison breaks have become very synonymous with each other. But, Raizo also mentions that, okay, we kind of really need one thing: weapons. The factory here only makes weapons for export purposes, uses outside of the country. Not really the stuff that samurais would use, namely swords and spears. So we gotta figure out something, especially since swords are actually forbidden for civilian use. So without arming the rebellion, we wouldn't be able to last long in a fight. So Kinemon is just like, okay, I gotta figure something out. But first I'll head off to Braided Hat Village, Hanagasama, and just make a final head count, and then we'll kind of make our way into figuring something out with the weaponry. Just so we'll at least know how many troops we need to actually outfit with weaponry, at least, so we'll know what to aim for. But, it's such a really weird thing. Also, he rides a flaming chicken. He has a fire cock, basically. It's great, but, Raizo's situation just really got out of hand. But Kawamatsu has, been reunited with Hiyori. It's a very touching scene. He's very happy that she's alive and well. Zoro takes note. It's just like, I know she said she was raised by a Kappa, but I really wasn't expecting this. But we come to find out that Hiyori had actually ran away because Kawamatsu was basically feeding her everything that he found and wasn't eating himself. And it got to a point where she really thought he was going to die because he was not giving himself any form of nutrition. That's ultimately why he was able to sustain himself off of the poison fish. His body just was able to, fight through it because the hunger was greater than the actual poison, which only in the world of One Piece. But and Kawamatsu's happy that she actually did it for such a kind reason, with her not really knowing that he was been imprisoned like almost the entirety of while she's been away. But suddenly these figures appear off in the distance, and one person who looks to be a waiter from Kaido's forces straight up shoots Yukimaru, and we come to find out these men are all seeking revenge against Yukimaru for taking their weapons, and they've all got weaponry that have the ability to take out wild beasts, and they're determined to take him down, even going so far as to say, yeah, we'll take you down and all these other people around you as well, namely Hiyori, Kawamatsu, and Zoro. And Kawamatsu and Zoro immediately get ready for a throwdown. Like, despite the fact that Kawamatsu has a very silly appearance, he and Zoro just have that same look of, we're gonna cut these men to shit. We will cut them to ribbons. And they just start going all out, just striking from there on out. But suddenly, Yukimaru starts to run back across the bridge to the other side. And Zoro's just like calling out, why are you running away again? Why are you running? Why are you running? But you see that Yukimaru is actually crying and lamenting the fact that Kawamatsu has returned, and he's relieved that Kawamatsu is okay. Thus ending our chapter. A very interesting chapter with a lot of mystery and intrigue. I'm especially intrigued by the personalities of the Yakuza bosses, but I'm unsure of how deep their actual involvement in the story will actually go. Because, some characters don't really receive too much attention. It's nice to actually have them fleshed out to a certain degree to know their personalities, but you only get so much from them. But this is promising to be a very big battle. What I even said, it's in League. It'll, should surpass the whole Marineford situation. And we had a lot of just straight up characters introduced and throwing down and all this various different stuff. So we'll see how far that manages to go, because there's still plenty of other forces from Kaido we haven't seen. We've seen his top generals, but there are, smaller time forces that we haven't seen enough of, especially in terms of the flying dino whatever, the group that Page 1 and X-Drake belong to. We didn't see enough of them. I think there was, 2, 3 others who were members of that, so there's definitely more to it than that. But we'll see how that showdown goes. Definitely set up. It's just like, oh, we need weapons. Conveniently, Kawamatsu is having the whole situation with Yukimaru and Zoro and all that good stuff, but a very interesting chapter. The whole situation with Kawamatsu and Hiyori, though, immediately starts to put to rest any theories that there's something fishy about Hiyori, because it's just like, okay, so it's just that she's not that great of a character. I'm sorry, she really doesn't feel like it, because there's nothing more to her than just damsel in distress. They seem like they're trying to build to something with her character, but I'm just not seeing it. But tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to continue seeing more One Piece chapter reviews. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I am everywhere, for better or for worse. And until the next video, just remember that, showing that you care by running away might be noble in the moment, but it really just creates unnecessary worry. But until next time, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I think it's time for bed. Bye-bye.